In this video, we're going to break down the exact conversations coming from a brand new appointment setter in our business that's on track to do about $4,500 in their first month as an appointment setter. So we're going to go through all the conversations. We're going to show you exactly what the process looks like, go through a lot of the scripts. And I think you guys are really going to love this episode, especially if you're looking to get into appointment setting. Let's jump in.
Welcome to the Remote Closing Academy.
Hey, what's going on? Aaron here from the Remote Closing Academy. And the last two appointment setting videos we put out on this channel have been going crazy in terms of, you guys' feedback and really enjoying the videos, as well as just overall views and things that we're always looking for to see what you guys are enjoying. So in this one, we're just going to break down and I'm going to screen share and do some live DM appointment setting and just show you the step-by-step how the conversations are going. Some of these are a little bit more nuanced in terms of having to have a longer conversation. So you guys will see exactly how our appointment setter is dealing with each of those people and ultimately getting them set as appointments. So if you haven't seen the last video, it'll give you a lot more context around this. It'll give the exact scripts and everything like that. But all that being said, let's jump into this one. So I'm going to share my screen here. And actually, as we're going through here, this first one I wanted to show because this just gives a really good example of what it looks like when the prospect pushes back a little bit, right? Some of the conversations are a little bit easier and they're like, we say, hey, here, let's set an appointment. And they're like, okay, sure, let's talk. But this one is a little bit different. So this person, they reached out and we said, hey, what has you thinking about remote closing? Again, this scripting stuff, you can take it down in this video, but it'll make more sense if you watch one of the recent appointment setting videos. So they said the motivation is the money and ease of working from home in casual close. So they said, I get that. What industry are you working in now? What are you wanting to learn in the high ticket or a high income skill like this? They said, I worked as a restaurant manager, long hours, and not an extraordinary amount of money. So when we break it down, right, we're always trying to figure out what is the pain, right? What is the pain point that this person is dealing with, right? So the pain here is that they're working long hours and they also aren't making the money that they want to be making to get X, Y, and Z, right? So they say, I know the restaurant grind, did that for a couple of years myself, which literally did for 5 or 6 years. So ideally, then what are you looking for as far as income, work-life balance with working in remote closing compared to restaurant work? And they said yes, which is an interesting... They didn't really answer the question, but this is a good question nonetheless, because it's saying what the setter was asking is they took the information here, right? It's one thing to take the script and just do it copy and paste, but it's another thing to be able to read this, right? And see what they're looking for and then say, okay, so like, what are you looking for in terms of income, work-life balance, right? What are you looking for specifically? And when you could ask these questions, it shows the other person that you actually care and they're actually listening to what they're saying. So it said, okay, cool. What would you need to take home to replace your full-time income? So they said, I'm unemployed right now, but what my role makes on average would be anywhere between $6,000 to $7,000 a month. So I'm a little bit confused, which I think that's when they had to dive in a little bit more because they said, I'm working as a restaurant manager, but they said I'm actually unemployed right now. So knowing that is a little bit of a red flag, right? Because in order for them to move forward and make it make sense for us to partner with them, they are going to need to have, some income coming in. So we say, on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being you're living paycheck to paycheck, 10 being you have unlimited funds to invest, where would you say you're on a scale from right now? Wherein in the desire to learn, pretty high. I'd like to find out. Okay, so again, here didn't really answer the question, which is fine, but I think what ended up happening is they were just trying to get the appointment sat. So if this were me, right, if I was going into it, I would just be like, hey, you didn't really ask, you didn't really answer the question, just curious, and kind of reiterate it, you know what I mean? Because the reason they asked this is to financially qualify to see if we can actually help them, right? So just something to keep in mind there. I said, okay, Lowell, I think we were hopping on a 15-minute chat with someone. Are you open to that? And then here's where the objection comes in. So they say, before I proceed, what is the benefit for you to spread the word about this business? Are you just doing this out of the goodness of your heart, or do you get a cut of the profits? And then it said, well, in this business, nonetheless, there's a massive shortage of people able to work remote closing positions. So us providing a solution in the marketplace while training individuals to grow themselves and make more income, I see a win-win. Hope that helps answer the question. Yeah, that makes sense. So great way of at the end of the day, if someone does move forward, the setter is going to be financially invested, right? But at the same time, here's what the cool part about really any remote closing or any other offer that you might be selling on is the fact that 9 times out of 10, right, you got to qualify some of these clients. but you're going to be selling a transformational offer, right? So you're helping that person create a better life for themselves. What he ended up doing here as well is he sent over our Trustpilot so she can see just a ton of different results and case studies of people we've worked with. We have over 500, actually over 800 reviews. About 500, 600 of them are 5-star reviews. And they say, is this something you can be done part-time? It is. It's meant to be a leveraged skill that you get paid for, time work, blah, blah, blah. So again, answering it, not going too deep into it because you don't want to like add difficulty in them understanding it. And then it looks like he just dropped the link to get scheduled in and a couple other side conversations I'm starting to figure out from watching this video and now understand it's an academy and not something you do on your own, that there's an expense to enroll. Okay, so this is another great example, right? It's not just something that, they figured out, hey, there's probably some sort of investment involved. And then we say we don't really do cookie cutter programs. We're a full mentorship coaching system that pairs you with a one-on-one coach. So it does vary from person to person. So jumping on here, it said, would like to know about what you do to make money. Is it just getting on calls? It's hard to commit to something without knowing what my investment is. And then again, just helps, we help them do X, Y, and Z. Totally get that. Drop the link to give like a better understanding, and then put in the actual confirmation link. And then they said all booked in for tomorrow, for a call tomorrow morning, booked with, insert email. So again, this conversation a little bit more involved, right? More objections, more things to overcome, which isn't a bad thing, right? It's not going to be easy every single time. But again, just being able to answer some of those questions, but still go in for the kill, right? Go in for the set is really, really huge when it comes to this side of things. Okay, so jumping to the next one here, we got my man Antonio, and this is really just shows the power behind remote appointment setting, how simple this could be. And when you're partnered with the right companies, is you can, have the conversations like this all day long and make a considerable income just from talking to these people that are already interested in these offers. So Antonio reached out. He said, hey, my name is Antonio. I'm an engineer working remote currently and would like to get into a side gig like this. In your live session, you mentioned about someone in your team recently making 5 to 8K a month by helping you copy and paste appointment setting and such. Do you have another open spot that can help you and your team? So again, we jumped in, hey, what are you looking for in the first place, or what had you, interested in the first place? And he said, hey, Aaron, thanks for reaching back. I've been working remote for close to a year, and I've recently started looking for secondary income streams. I do some DIY stuff. However, this caught my eye. And since I may have some free time, why not use it for building experience and learning something new? He said, I get that. What industry are you working in now, and where do you want to learn a high income skill? So this one, I probably wouldn't have asked it in this way, right? Because if the setter was looking at this right here, they would say that they were in the, engineer. So they could say something more like, I get that. So you're doing engineering right now. What specifically, why specifically did you want to learn this, right? So then, he did clarify a little bit here. Worked at different areas too, such as a government contractor, manufacturing, etc. And then, so he said, oh, nice. So ideally, what are you looking for as far as income, work-life balance with working remote closing compared to what you're doing now in the automotive field? So good, listening. Typically start early in the morning, and by mid-afternoon, I'm mostly done for the day, so I can add a couple hours to learn something completely new. As far as income, I don't know. Per the example you shared in your live, I believe you mentioned 5 to 8K a month, but you tell me. He asked, what do you need to replace your income? Well, there's no cap, but I would say something anywhere from 12 to 15K a month to start off as possible. I'm currently a bit over 9,000 a month right now, to be honest. And that's really all the main questions that someone needs to ask, right? Financially qualify, make sure there's some sort of pain. I maybe would have dove a little bit more into the pain of, why do they want to do this specifically? Because, a lot of times we talk about there's two types of pain, right? There's a physical pain of like, oh my gosh, I need to get out of, I need to make more money because I need to pay my bills, right? That's one type of pain. And then they have the other type of pain, which is an unfulfilled desire, right? This guy, he's doing okay, right? Making 9K a month, wants to do 12 to 15. That is an unfulfilled desire because he doesn't necessarily have to go in and like make that right this second. You know what I mean? So I would have maybe dove a little bit into that. But of course he goes in, worth hopping on a 15-minute chat to see what it would be like to help you out. And they said, sure thing. Let me know the available times, goes in, books the conversation, and we are all good to go. All right, hold on. Aaron jumping in here super quickly. Now, the majority of people only watch our YouTube videos about 30 to 40% of the way. So I wanted to come in here and remind you down below in the description, the first link that's down there, it's going to bring you over to a full-on like 35-minute training that breaks down exactly how to use everything you're learning in this video and just putting into action, right? How to use it, what exactly appointment setting is, right? Going through and how to find these companies, like a lot of the stuff we're talking about here, but a much more in-depth video. So click the link down in the description, don't watch it yet, just put it in your tabs, right? Have it open up in a new tab, and make sure to check that out at the end after you're done watching this video, and it's gonna help you out a ton in the implementation. So go ahead and check that out. We'll give you a reminder here at the end to make sure you get to it. All right, back to the video. Okay, so just found this actually new one, and just to give a little bit of context, they responded, or they went through the whole thing. We put the keyword, and I said, hey, what had you interested in remote closing? And they just gave us this entire long, just really long explanation of like what they're looking for. And I don't want to like go too deep into it because it was a lot of personal stuff. But basically, they was just like, the purpose of us being able to help these people is get them out of the place of pain and into financial confidence, right? Being able to do what they need to. This is she's a brand new mom of a 9-month-old, and she wants to be able to spend more time with the kid and, and make more money and support the household. So us being able to get in contact with them and potentially put them in a better spot is just like, it makes this job, like this is why I wake up every day. So cutting into the second part of the conversation, getting some clarification, right? So I'm sorry if that was too much. New mortgage broker, transaction coordinator, not at all. I see, what we need to make to remote closing to replace your full-time income per month. So they said, well, I'll be happy making $4,000 a month, but previously I was doing about $7,500 when I was full-time. With the market shift, I'd say closer to $6,000 now. She said, okay, I see what you mean. Okay, cool. I think it would be worth having a 15-minute conversation. Are you open to that? Absolutely. Like, you can see how simple it is to get these people to move forward just with the conversation, because as a DM setter, you're just selling that next appointment, right? And when you are partnered with a company that has as much content as we do, we talk about remote closing. I'm going live basically every single day, and we're, having these genuine relationships with people. When we ask for a call, it's really simple to get them converted over, right? And every single set that is on the calendar, the setter is getting paid for that, right? Just for setting them on the calendar. That's how simple it could be. So down here it said, great, schedule time for the first available time. Obviously we blocked out the information, but there we go. Easy as that. All right, so let's do an easy one. Last couple ones have been a little bit more in depth. So this one's super, super easy. So they sent in the keyword. We said, hey, what had you interested in looking to remote closing? Looking for additional income as well as getting out of my 9-to-5. So back to the pain thing is, the pain and the desire that is wanted, right? Where they are, where they want to be, is they want to get out of their 9-to-5, right? Get out of that into making more income. So he said, I get that. What industry are you working in now that you're wanting to learn a high income skill like this? And they said, I work at a 24/7 IT company as a facility manager. I said, okay, cool. What would you need to make in remote closing to replace your full-time income? They'd say 5 to 6 per month. So this question, I just dive into a little bit more. This is an easier or a better way, like a less intrusive way, we'll say, of saying, how much do you make per month, right? When we answer it in this way, right, what would you need to make with remote closing to replace your full-time income per month, is where it's more inquisitive, right? We're trying to figure out, okay, what do we need to do to match your current income? So when they say we need to make $5,000 to $6,000 a month, it's like, okay, cool. That now we know they're doing that. If they're doing that, or maybe they're doing a little bit less, right? Because sometimes people will take that they need a little bit of security, right? They might be doing like $5,000 a month, but to like fully jump ship and, go full in on something like this, where they might be a little bit hesitant, right? They might want to make a little bit more just to have a little bit of cushion. So then, after that, once we have the pain, once we understand that they want to better their lives, it's like, hey, I got you. I think it's worth hopping on a 15-minute call. You open that. They said, for sure. Maybe providing a little more insight of what a remote closing is. So I'm not going to show the links on here, but when someone says that, we let them book in, and then we send them like a video that goes a little bit more in detail of what remote closing is. So there we go. All right, so jumping in here, we have the keyword, and then we have, hey Frank, thanks for reaching out. What has you looking in remote closing? So they said, just finished school and I'm currently unemployed. I'm looking for a remote closing because I own my apartment and it's just me and my dog. So the dream would be to rent out my apartment and travel around the country with my pup. So he said, okay, cool. Good goal. That's awesome. So are you able to do anything part-time to bring in some income for the time being? So thankfully I have some money saved up. So this probably isn't the best question because this is already assuming that, and this is kind of just like me auditing, our appointment setter as well. So this isn't really the best question because you don't really know someone's situation, you know? So he says, you know, I own my apartment. So that's already letting me know that he has like some financial literacy, we'll say. So instead of this, you know, being, so are you able to do anything part-time to bring in income? I would say, okay, gotcha. So, you know, do you plan to, you know, work anytime soon, or, you know, do you have enough savings to like float yourself, right? That would be a better question. So you get an understanding of, you know, is he unemployed and like has no money so you can financially qualify, or, you know, what is like the overall situation? So thankfully I have some money saved up to get me by, but I've been looking for both part-time, so I have to continually rely on my savings as well. It's a full-time job. I said, okay, I see what you mean. Ideally then, what are you looking to in terms of remote closing? So I'm looking to make a solid living while working remote. I apologize if that doesn't quite answer your question, but I'm not sure what you mean by remote closing, whether it's a general or specific term. Makes sense. It was being more specific, but I see what you mean. I think it's worth hopping on a 15-minute chat. You opened that, said yeah, but it won't be free until about 6 or 7 if that works. So send in the link, got him booked in. The only thing I would have maybe done a little bit differently here as well is kind of given some more context, because, you know, at this point he's like kind of confused, right? He doesn't really know what remote closing is. So to go in and he set the appointment anyway, but I would have maybe sent a little bit more information about what it is, so he can feel a little bit more at ease when it comes to, you know, when it comes to having that conversation and not ghosting. Because if they don't really understand the opportunity, then it's going to be a lot more difficult to get them on the call. So all right, so let's jump into the last one for today, and let's hit it. All right, so let's jump into this last one here. So again, same thing with the DM. You know, what has you looking to remote closing? I want to be able to afford starting a life, and I can barely do that at my current job. So we asked, you know, what are you currently doing for your 9 to 5? An office job for a survey company. I'm a utility coordinator, but I'm a little newer, so it's just a lot of busy work, and I'm putting in 10 plus hours of overtime so I can still save money each month along with paying all of my bills. So lots of pain there, right? But I'm assuming what we'll do here is, you know, get a little bit more specific of what they need. So I see what you mean. So ideally, what are you looking for in terms of income and work-life balance? So what do you ideally want to be making? You know, I want to have more financial stability with more free time to spend with my family, which is a great, you know, want to get out where they are to where they want to be. I got you. So what would you need to make this remote closing to replace your full-time income? I would need to learn and build up the skill on the side until it's secure enough to replace the job that I'm in, right? Well, how much would it be? Well, hopefully over 60K. So whatever that math is, 12 divided by 60, or 60 divided by 12. And so we can figure out, okay, you know, what's now we know that they're making money, right? If someone's making money and, you know, to financially qualify, it doesn't necessarily need to be like the full amount, right? Depending on what your actual offer is. But you want to make sure that, you know, you're not like putting them into the negative when, you know, when they move forward, if they decide to. So it's like, okay, well, I think it would be worth hopping on with someone from my team for a 15-minute chat. Are you open to that? And they would say, I love you. I would love you. I would love to. So they end up, you know, booking in and moving forward. So all that being said, guys, we're going to cut it with that. Let me know down in the comments below, is this helpful? Do you enjoy these types of videos? If you do, I do want to create these as a weekly series just because we have so many DMs, multiple appointment setters in the DMs. And I just love to like show you guys and bring you through the process and show you what these conversations look like, doing them on like at a real-time basis. Because if I was a brand new appointment setter, I would find this to be extremely helpful because you're seeing exactly what the conversations look like in real-time objection handling, the exact scripts you're using to get people converted and on the calendar. So all that being said, make sure to click the video on screen now to check out the last video about appointment setting. That'll go a million times deeper into the philosophies that we went over and showed in this video, and you'll just have a lot more context and a lot more ammo to see success as an appointment setter. So check it out. Video on screen. See you guys on the next one. Talk soon. Peace.